this another perception to find broken branches and such?
Y'all only need to roll one if you want to support somebody.
Yeah, I'll support.
As long as you have it as a trained skill, which means you have at least one skill point in it.
I don't.
So Verstat and Wrist.
Wrist, do you want to do it? We can all assist you.
No,
Verve is looking.
I'm
looking.
We are
I'm
assisting
sorry.
Verve.
Gotcha. We're so good at assisting.
Oh yeah.
It's like I wasn't even needed.
Verve, you look around and you are easily able to identify that heading down to heading a little bit closer to the actual peaks themselves, you can almost with that, you actually spy between the branches a place up ahead where the ground dips down noticeably and very suddenly. And through there you see a valley down below where you see another stream that comes up the Hager Cribs that's very, very small. Seems to kind of lazily drift through it. But as you're looking in that space between the trees with that amazing perception roll, your elf eyes are actually able to see large bloodstains splattered across the ground visible from your position down in that valley.
I will turn to Wrist.
And you even see a gun just lying there.
I will turn to Wrist and Verstat and say thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. There's a broken twig over there.
Yeah, Wrist and Vertstat did find some signs of man's passage leading vaguely southish.
But I will head towards the gun and pick it up.
Oh no, it's like way down in that valley.
Okay. Never
What
mind.
did you see, Verve?
I see quite a bit of sign of fighting. Shall we go?
That's exactly what we're
No.
here for. Let's go.
So I will lead the way.
All right, as you lead your way off towards south, Wrist probably growing higher in anxiety by the moment, you come to a rather steep cliff edge, but you see that there is a rope, though it's definitely been worn a bit by, looks like some rain, and it's pretty dirty, but it looks fairly strong and still tied and intact, and there's a rope that leads down a pretty sheer cliff edge about 12 feet below to the ground.
I will be the first one down.
Okay, you can easily make it down, no issue. Anyone who has at least a single skill point in athletics can get down it with no problem.
Can I climb down?
Yes, that will also work.
All right. How am I getting down with no point in athletics?
Do you have a point of climb?
Negative.
Roll.
Can I neither down?
Roll me a climb check, but you get plus 40 because of the rope.
Okay.
For anyone that does not have it trained. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Fortune point. Dear God.
And so he died. Goodbye.
I scurry out from beneath the rope.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, both of you are easily able. Vertstad, as you start to go down the rope, there's a brief moment where it just sort of, you hit like a wet slimy patch or some kind of algae's grown on it, and you slip. And for a brief moment, your heart just beats very hard and loud, but you manage to catch yourself like literally less than a split second later, but it felt like a lot longer than a split second while you were falling for that instant. And although rattled, you make your way down without any further issue.
All right.
And going based off that plus, was that with your plus 10 for acute senses, by the way? Verve, that earlier perception check?
Was that with the plus 10? No.
Okay, so with the additional, plus 9, with the additional success level, Verve, as you impact the ground and you look across the valley you're in, you can actually see what looks like some kind, you detect a movement, a flash of white past the clearing and in the trees beyond it.
I hold everyone up and say, I saw a flash of white, and I will point off in the direction.
None of y'all see shit. You see what, like, the trees open up to a bit of a valley, and at this distance, most of you can identify what looks like a large patch of dried blood on the ground.
But I will continue to lead the way.
All right, we will follow behind.
Okay. Y'all start pursuing or heading up forwards, and as you get to the edge of the tree line, Verve, roll me an additional perception check, but you do not get help with this one. Okay. Y'all can head into the open space. And as you do so...
Wait, we're going in the open space with all the blood.
Would you rather just watch the open space with all the blood?
Yes.
Fair point. But yes, we're going there anyways.
I will step out. I'll step out cautiously and keep looking around to see if I can catch any more white. And when I don't, I'll just turn back to everyone and say, just slow movements. If I saw what I saw is here.
You know I'm no good at this sneaking stuff.
Yeah,
I look at him very surprised. And he proves my point.
Do you want one from everyone, Sotek?
Only if you're gonna be trying to be stealthy.
I'm haphazardly trying, so I will try.
Nice.
Nice, Roland.
Interesting. Okay, and then I need to roll for perception.
So I'm just bumbling my way through the woods.
I just have this image of Verdstat walking into Wrist, and I'm wearing a cookpot as a helmet.
Okay, as you all enter across the rocks, Verve immediately hugs against the ground and very stealthily starts picking her way across carefully, with the very soft bubbling of the stream being enough to cover her movements. Roland, despite his immense size, manages to stick close enough to the tree line that he almost just kind of blends in as some kind of thin but large oak, to the extent that, Wrist, you're not even... Roland is behind you a little bit, but you are not... As far as you can tell, he has just vanished off the face of the earth.
I am a naturally growing spring bean.
And he just moves very carefully and stealthily. Wrist and Verdstat, the two of you step out and do, quite honestly, just bump into each other, essentially, which echoes the sound of a pot banging as Wrist falls over. His pot impacts against the rock that is beneath a lot of you, and it just sort of echoes out across the clearing, but nothing happens.
I will help Wrist up.
I collect my helmet and glare at Verdstat.
Verdstat will look away, but still help Wrist up.
Thanks. Okay, so, hello thingy, if you're here. Don't eat me, I will creep along.
I will creep behind him.
Alright.
Actually, I look around. Can I even find the elf? And I know I
you
can't.
can see the elf. You do not see Roland.
Alright, I follow Verve. in a way that probably aggravates her greatly.
Yes. All right.
Can I look out for white flashes of doom?
Yeah. You see nothing.
You can try.
You are fairly blinded by the dirt that Verve is kicking up in your face from being in front of you as she tries to move stealthily without making any noise.
Ah! Do I have to do that? My eyes!
I will hold up a hand that you probably can't see.
Wrist can't. The other two can.
And I will, to kind of have everyone halt, and I will continue making my way towards this blood smear.
Okay.
Alright. I don't see your hand.
Wrist continues to follow after you. And
So, Verstat drops to the ground and grabs Wrist as well and brings him to the ground and says, "Shh."
Wrist, you are tackled.
Lightly.
Oh, demon!
Hold on, I have to roll something.
So I would just say to Wrist very quietly, Verve wants us to be quiet.
Wow, okay. Nothing happens as Wrist shouts in surprise, but once again, nothing occurs. And Verve, as you approach the blood patch, when you look down, when you get close to it, you do see a gun lying next to it, and you notice that the gun has been completely shattered from the base down. Like all the wooden portions of it, anything that wasn't made exclusively out of metal has been like just obliterated.
I'll look at it and look around for bodies. Is there anything?
No. Roll a perception. Because this is actually would be difficult to notice from where you're standing. Because you're in the center of the clearing at this point. Okay, that's good enough. When you look ahead at the tree line, you notice that at the tree line about 5 to 7 feet off the ground, there are tons of scratch marks into the bark, and from nearly all of them are hanging scraps of bloody flesh or clothing or just like big gouge marks that have left red stains in the wood.
That wasn't very awesome. I will make sure not to point that out to the others.
And you do see another flash of white in the tree line beyond.
I see it. Can I pinpoint it?
It's a little bit further away than it's like it's probably a good 200 to 300 yards past the tree line. But you literally catch a flash of it, but you feel very confident something's there. And that feeling I described to you earlier gets heavier.
I keep my hand like up to keep everyone still. And I will again I'll move up at like a small crouch and towards the flash of white.
Okay, do you want to prefer speed or stealth?
I'm sure whatever it is probably notices that we're here. But no, I'd prefer stealth still.
Okay, roll me a stealth check for rural.
I like to think that my successful stealth is from just not being near them.
Oh man, my dice are killing me right now. Oh my gosh. All right. Verve, you zip forwards, keeping at a low crouch, and you move very quickly. And the moment you reach the trees, your companions lose sight of you. As you move among the trees very stealthily, and you make zero noise, using all of the skills you ever picked up from your home in Athel Loren, you practically leap from root to root, not stepping on any leaves, avoiding any fallen branches, and you make excellent headway. And as you close the distance between you and this patch of white, it starts to grow in your field of vision. You notice it's not immense, but as you approach, you do spot what appears to be a large pair of antlers reaching into that 7-foot tree line area that seem to be the edges of them are faded red. It's big, whatever it is. It's not colossal, but it's definitely like the size of a very large horse.
Is there a way I can peer around a tree to look at this thing? Or is it hiding? What is it?
It's just hanging out, but with that roll, you could easily get closer if you'd like.
Yes, I would.
All right, as you slide around a tree, leap to the area that it's in, and as you come around the brush, you lay your eyes upon what appears to be a albino stag. And this thing is big, even for like a strong wild animal, and it's not difficult for you to see that it definitely has a lot of vague red smears in some of its fur, especially around its hooves and its face. But there's something... It seems very calm, and it's just kind of hanging around and eating off some various plants that are nearby to it. And it seems to just kind of be contentedly grazing.
How close am I relative to it?
You are a little bit... If you want to get past the clearing, you'll need to roll another stealth check. Right now, you're still back in the clearing with the other two.
Right, and we've lost sight of both of them, so we're still like on the ground, and I just have a shoulder on wrist. Or a hand on wrist's shoulder, rather.
All right, you did be good once before, Dice.
Oh, yes, give me another roll. Do it.
Fortune. I'm doing it.
I still didn't get a great roll, so as long as he doesn't totally...
I'm considerably more fine with that.
All right, you push past...
I could spend my last fortune to just
You're
make
okay.
it...
Don't worry about it. You push past Rist and Vertstad, who do see you push past them, and you do not have the stealth or the acrobatics of the elf, and you kind of go pushing through, kicking up leaves, snapping the occasional branch, but you're relatively quiet. The elf can definitely hear you from up ahead, but she is very close to the creature, and you make pretty good headway, but you stop the moment you see with your... because you don't quite have her level of sight, but when you start picking out patches of white through the tree line, that's about where you have to stop unless you want to take another check.
Please don't.
I think I'm good.
All right, Verve, there is a large stag about 20 feet in front of you who does not seem aware of your existence at the moment.
Remind me, like, elf culture on something like this?
So generally in elven culture, a white stag is like a sacred symbol of Kurnos, and to hunt a white stag is a very religious experience, and it's something that is undertaken, but there is a lot of ritual and a lot of rules to how it has to be undertaken, and there are a lot of specifics about what you are and are not allowed to do. But you're also in a foreign land, and this creature is definitely not... It's not like the great stags of your home. The great stags of Athel Loren have almost an ethereal aura to them. There's something more noble to their aspect. Like, they seem more intelligent or more part of the forest. This creature seems more like a... There is something unnatural about it, but you can't put your finger on it.
Alright. Can I make my way back to them with that same stealth roll?
Ha! Good try. No.
Of course not.
I will give you a bonus to your next stealth roll.
Okay.
I'll give you a plus 20.
Or you could jump out and charge it.
$60? Fuck. This thing does not have very good perception. Remind me what perception is based off of? Hold on, I can check for myself. Oh, it's based off initiative. Would you roll? You got 1 degree of success?
Yeah.
1 sec. Okay. Verve, as you start to move away from it, you do notice its ears kind of flick, and it immediately leans up, and you can hear it sniffing very intently, but it doesn't turn towards you. And you're able to make your way back until you see Roland.
I will tell... He probably doesn't see me, though.
Roland, roll a perception. I mean, if you see him, you can make yourself obvious to him.
Yeah.
So in that case, he would not need a perception. You could, like, wave at him.
I will wave at him and wave him, like, move back.
Roland, as you're standing there trying to get an eye on this beast, you see what you mistake at first for one of the trees or the undergrowth to be moving very strangely, trying to get your attention, before you realize it's just the elf. She just blends in extremely well.
I just nod and start heading back towards the other two, whatever they're doing.
I will pass one of these rolls. God damn it.
Alright, Elf, you're gonna make me die with this stealth check.
Is that a 1 or a 7? That's a 7. Okay, he'll have to fail. Okay. You slowly start backtracking. Careful to put your feet not on anything loud, as the elf seems very intently focused on you not making any noise, and the two of you are able to retreat to the clearing without incident.
Once I get back to Wrist
and Wrist, you see your two companions emerge from the tree line, and they are staying very close to the ground and moving very carefully.
I don't move.
Neither does Verstat.
But I will look around. Where am I in the clearing?
Right in the you're about 5 feet from the dead center of it. So you're about 30 yards from any of the edges of the forest.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of a nice charging plain.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's exactly where we are.
This was the worst idea ever.
You planned to bump into me?
No. Getting in the middle of the clearing.
Fair enough. Let's continue on.
But once I get back to the two of you, I will explain the situation and what I saw, the size and the size of this creature. And I will say the best killing grounds for it are out here. But we don't want to be out here. This thing would tear us to ribbons in moments.
Okay.
Where do you
Didn't
recommend?
seem that special. Didn't seem much bigger than any deer you'd find wandering out.
I was close enough to touch it while you almost blundered into it.
That is close enough to touch, though.
Didn't I?
How smart are you?
All right.
Oh wait, you have. Who of you has Sixth Sense?
Me.
Ooh, both of you.
And me.
And Verve, yeah.
Okay, well you don't detect shit. What about you?
Am I about to die of dramatic irony overdose?
Vertstat. You feel the hairs on your arm raise a little bit as a notable gust comes from behind you guys.
I will slap Wrist on the shoulder as I turn around.
Okay, there is nothing there.
So to the trees we go.
I will do a double take behind me, but then having no good reason to keep staring, I will eventually continue.
Okay,
with,
which side of the forest do y'all want to run to? Towards the beast, away from the beast?
I'm gonna move off. I think it is best to split up so that we all don't get charged at the same time.
I love splitting up.
Verve, about that.
Sounds great.
Yes, it sounds great, but I did have a bad feeling coming from behind us. You know, could just be me and my bad feelings. It happens. But splitting up is dangerous.
Verstat's just like, what is this, Scooby-Doo?
I just want a big, thick tree between it and me.
Everybody roll perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
No assists, no bonus. Well, damn, Wrist.
I've got the dirt out of my eyes, and this is important.
Oh, this is actually super funny. Okay.
Thank you, Wrist.
All right. So
Nice.
as 1 second. Oh man, hold on. I have to compare some rolls real quick. This is really interesting. Does he have... Did I give this creature stealth? Okay. Okay. That's super funny. Alright. As the four of you are talking, Wrist, you are facing in a rather unique direction. You're looking towards... I assume you're looking towards Verve and Roland, who have their backs to where the forest they just emerged from is. And as you're standing there and the wind kind of dies down a little bit, you notice that from where they came from, a little ways off to the right, your attention gets drawn by the faint sound of something scraping. And as you look, you see the very faint outline from a particularly dark patch of the forest, this large antlered creature staring at you.
Sotek, I'm going to do something stupid. Do you agree?
Probably.
Good Stag!
Nice.
How do you
Point
attempt
to
to
reroll.
charm the stag?
I mean, the hunting party probably didn't try that.
Probably not.
You know what? No, it's good that failed. Because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have worked ways. We need to go, and I will dart to the nearest clump of sturdy-looking trees.
You rolled it. You have to try.
Good Stag. I look as inedible as I can.
Good Stag.
All right.
That's right, good Stag. Good, very nice coat. You look lovely, very spitting image of tall. Let's go.
Wrist speaks very openly, and Wrist, as you're speaking, the creature almost seems to... It doesn't have a look of intelligence per se, but it seems to have a very innate understanding that it's been spotted and you're talking at it, and it starts emerging from the forest towards you. It's not running. It's moving very carefully. But it makes no attempt to hide itself, and all of you can hear the crack of its hooves hitting the ground.
I will look towards it, but I will not. I will say to everyone, don't look in its eyes, please. Let's not get a premature charge here.
Trees tall.
trusting Verstat or Verv's knowledge on animals, Verstat will not look up from the ground.
All right. As I guess everyone except Vertstat in that case gets a decent look at the beast in the open. It you can actually see that it still has little bits and pieces of ribbons of the unfortunates hanging from, especially the inner parts of its antlers, that it can't scrape against the trees to get that annoying stuff off. But the creature, remind me what weapons you're all wielding real quick. I know axe, staves,
I have a cudgel.
Okay. The beast kind of like lazily seems to consider the four of you and it starts to slowly like chew its jaw, but it doesn't seem to make any hint of aggression. But it is very carefully watching the four of you.